Colbyjack.net is proud to present From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. The people of the fire, the Blesa, led by their queens, have ruled the island of Alfeyju and oppressed the Driva, the people of the ice, for more than 16 generations. With the Drivian King in hiding and little hope on the horizon, the Driva looked to one person to save them from the vile Blesa, the Diviana. According to legend, the divinely gifted Diviana will one day overthrow the Blesa and restore the Drivian King to his rightful throne. But with the search having lasted for more than 400 years, will the Diviana ever come to light? Willow is the slave of the Raskpil family. But at the age of 4, 20 years have passed since her life irrevocably changed. Her existence is no worse than any other slave, but within, Willow wonders if there isn't something more she should be doing with her life other than serving the ungrateful. Ordered to travel with her master's family to Sondertoft, so her master's adult children can take part in an ancient rite of passage, Willow is shocked when she learns that she too must participate. Will she fail, as all before her have? Will she rise to the challenge and become stronger after passing through the flames? Episode 53. "How long have we been here?" Willow asked, starting to tire. Sigurd and Hawk looked at each other for a second before Hawk said, 7 days. 7 days? It couldn't have been that long, Willow protested. It has, a voice answered. Looking up, Willow saw an older woman standing in the open doorway, looking at her with kind eyes. "Now that you have most of your questions answered, it's time to rest." "Are you Onurva?" Willow asked. "Yes," the woman said. "Rest. In a few hours we'll wake you and give you some food to eat." At her words, Hawk got to his feet. Sigurd followed after he kissed her gently on the head. "We'll be in the other room if you need us," Hawk promised. "Rest well, my love," Sigurd said, following him out. Putting her head on her arms so they acted as an additional pillow, she murmured, "That woman, she looks familiar. Why does she look familiar?" "I don't know, honey," Val said, the staff glowing as it did when Willow used him. "Perhaps the answer will come to you while you sleep." "Sleep," she whispered. "So tired." "Time to wake up," an unfamiliar voice said. Coming out of the fog, Willow saw the woman, Onurva, leaning over her. On a nearby table, a table she hadn't noticed before, was a bowl. "That's a good girl," Onurva said. "I'm going to check on your wounds and then sit you up so you can eat. You are hungry, aren't you?" "Very," Willow responded, feeling Onurva's light touch on her back. "How do they look?" "Very well, considering everything you've gone through." When Onurva pulled Willow's shirt down, Willow slowly eased herself onto her side, the first real movement from her in a week. "How do you feel? Any pain or spasms from the wounds?" "No," Willow answered. As she twisted her body into a sitting position, she looked at the woman helping steady her. "You look very familiar. Do I know you?" "If you asked me that question a week ago, I would have told you no, for I have not left this village in the last 20 years. After these days caring for you and talking to your men, however, I happily tell you yes, I do know you, or to be more precise, I knew you long ago." "Long ago? Did you know my father?" Willow asked as she took a sip of the broth Onurva gave her. "Yes, I knew him. I had the pleasure of being your mother's friend for a short period of time," Onurva said. "There's more, isn't there?" Willow asked, sensing more to the story than she was receiving. "Yes, Willow, I'm sad to say there is, but that is not for now. Now is the time for you to get better, so you can continue on your journey. You've already spent too much time in this village." "What do you mean?" Hawk asked as he and Sigurd came into the room. "The Queen's soldiers are looking for you. They came through the village the day after you arrived. Everyone denied seeing them, but we know if they came back again, it will not be so easy to turn them away. We've heard what they did to a nearby village they suspected of hiding you. Homes were burned to the ground and people injured if anyone tried to stop them. I can't ask anyone to hide us if they'll be hurt, Willow said. How did they know we might have headed here? Sigurd asked. If I'm not mistaken, you were heading this direction when you were attacked, correct? Onrva asked. Hawk nodded. Also, someone could have told them you might be headed here, because you were born here. This last reason is mainly why we believe they're coming here again, to make sure we aren't hiding you. Do you know how close they are? Hawk asked. 2 days away, at the soonest, Onrva said. Will she be well enough to move by then? Sigurd asked, looking concerned. I'll have to be well enough, Willow answered. If you can't walk, I can carry you on my back, Adelina said. Can you? Willow asked. Of course. With great size comes great strength. If need be, I bet I could carry all 3 of you. Not that I'd want to. Sigurd and Hawk have told me about some of your journeys and why you were headed here. What did you hope to learn? Onrva asked. I have questions for the woman who gave me to my slave family, Willow answered, finishing the broth. Do you know the woman who... Wait, are you her? Willow asked suddenly, staring into Onrva's face. You said there was more to who you were, and I thought you looked familiar. You're the woman who gave me to Mistress Brigida. We were going to wait until you were stronger to tell you, Sigurd said quietly. You knew? We did, Hawk confirmed. When we haven't been concerned for you, we've been learning everything we could about Cordula, its inhabitants, and our hostess. She told us who she was when we started asking questions. Adelina brushed against Willow and sat next to her, offering her strength. Can you leave us alone? I'd like to talk to her, especially since our time here is so limited. All right, but don't get too worked up. You're still healing from your injuries, Sigurd said. Willow waited until they left the room before she said, Will you tell me about my parents? I'll tell you everything I know, but it isn't much, Onrva said. How can you not know much? Willow asked. You said you knew them. You lived in the village when we did. You must know everything, or just about everything. You don't understand, Onrva said with exasperation. I was very young when I got married and started having children. By the time I was your age, I had 4 small children and a husband who was barely able to provide for us. When your parents came to this village, my husband was dead, and I had to take care of my 5 children by myself. When I wasn't taking care of them, I was doing whatever work I could to make a little money. I didn't have time to socialize with anyone unless they were paying me for work I'd done. Then how could you have been my mother's friend? Willow asked. It was impossible not to be her friend. When they first came to town, she must have noticed all my children because she came up to me, introduced herself, and started asking questions about raising children. She was with child and wanted to learn everything she could. She helped me with my kids, and I told her everything I knew. I was heartbroken when she died. She'd become so important to me so quickly. I felt as if a piece of me died along with her. And my father? I don't remember much about him. What was he like? A guard had a heart of gold, Onrva said. His name was a guard? Willow asked. Yes, didn't you know? No, I only remember calling him Papa. A guard was his name. A guard Lovis. Lovis. My real family name is Lovis. But of course, Onrva said, astonishment in her voice. Have you been going by the family name of the family which took you in? No. They've always said my family name was Niviarsik. I was only told a few days ago that that was my mother's name, not my family name. You didn't know before? And how old are you? 24, Willow admitted, seeing the outrage on her face. You are a Lovis, perhaps the only one left on Alfeyju. But that is who you are. If I ever get my hands on that family of yours, I'm going to. It's over and done with now, Willow said, cutting her off. Tell me more about my parents. Your dad was taken from this earth too soon. He'd do anything for a person, and... The sun was setting by the time Driva finished telling Willow about her parents. You should eat a little more and then sleep. The more you rest, the more healing your body will do. Thank you, Willow said. When she brought some more food, she asked, Will you show me where my parents are buried tomorrow? Yes, their graves aren't too far from here. Now eat and rest. Yes, ma'am. Driva was walking out of the room when Willow suddenly remembered a question she'd neglected to ask. Why did you give me to Mistress Brigitte? Driva turned and looked pale as a ghost. Sitting in a chair, she said, I'd hoped you wouldn't ask. I know, Willow admitted, but I've always wondered why. I understand. It wasn't one of my proudest moments, she said quietly. To most people looking in on my situation, there was little difference between 5 children and 6. But for me, I couldn't handle another child, especially one that wasn't mine. I tried to find a good home after your father's death. I really did, but everyone was struggling. That year we had a horrible drought and crops were well below normal levels. When she came into the village and offered to take you in, I was hesitant because she was a stranger. But when her friends told me she was well off, at least compared to everyone else in the village, I let her have you. I thought you'd be getting a better life than I could ever provide. I had no idea they'd treat you as a slave. If I'd known, I'd have kept you no matter how hard it would have been. I understand, Willow said. Mistress Brigitte is a master manipulator when she really wants something. I bet she took one look at me and saw the perfect slave to have in her home. She'd have done anything to convince you to let her have me. Over the years I prayed to the gods that you were safe and living a happy life. I'm glad they let me see the woman you've become. You remind me so much of your parents and have the same inner kindness that they had. It fairly radiates from you. Thank you, Willow said, unable to say anything else. Get some sleep. I'll see you in the morning. Driva left the room and closed the door. Sinking down onto her pallet in front of the fire, Willow stroked Adelina, comforted by her presence. Feel better? Val asked. Yes. My back barely hurts anymore. I was talking about the inner pain, doubts, and questions you had before. The answer is the same. I feel a lot better, actually. I feel a real peace within myself I didn't have before. Most of the unknowns and questions are answered. I'll be able to close the door on my past when I visit my parents' graves. Good, Adelina said. I'm anxious to continue on our journey. You do know where we're going next, don't you? Not really, Willow admitted, but the gods will show us the way. You have been listening to From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. Read, recorded, mastered, encoded, and produced by Colbyjack.net. This work is released under a Creative Commons 3.0 Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Do what you want with it, just don't try to profit from it. Heaven knows we can't. If you have any questions, comments, or rants you wish to share with us, we can be reached at Colbyjack at Colbyjack.net. That's COLBYTRAX @ Colbyjack.net. Yep, I sing it too. If you want to follow the exploits of Trisha in Twitterland, just search for Lady Trisha W on Twitter, or follow the ever-dashing, courageous, hardworking, intelligent, and immensely humble Colbytracks on the Twitters as well. If you find that you can't, just wait to find out what will happen with Willow, the strong dude and the annoying dude. Be heartened to know that From the Flames is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Smashwords, as well as from our little shop. Didn't you know about our little shop? Why, yes, we have a little shop located at shop. That's shop. .Colbyjack.net. That's shop.Colbyjack.net. Yeah, real original there. There you will find the latest ebook versions of all our works in both Mobi and ebook, all DRM free, as well as audiobook versions of such works as Firmware Hijacked and Proxy, as well, naturally, as well as From the Flames. The audiobooks differ from the podcasts in that the headers and bumpers only run once, and the episodes are grouped in hour-long episodes for easy burning to CD or for downloading on the go. If you find you don't need any stuff, but just want to thank us monetarily for our efforts here, just head on over to Colbyjack.net, select either audio or visual, and look for the donate button located on the blog roll. Well, anyway, thank you for listening, have a wonderful week, and remember to be fabulous.